Homeless blind man heals billionaire's dying daughter. When the rich man tosses him a coin, one sentence leaves him speechless. The rain was pouring down like the heavens had burst open, hammering against the grey-white marbly steps of Kassala City Hospital. Lightning split the night sky, and thunder rolled over the tin roofs of the slums, as if the heavens themselves were mourning the loss of a life. The piercing wail of an ambulance cut through the rain, its doors swinging open as nurses frantically dragged out a stretcher. A frail little girl lay on it, her face deathly pale, lips cracked, her breathing so faint her chest barely moved. The ERT monitor screamed a rapid, urgent beep beep beep, like the footsteps of death closing in. Lily! Lily! Hold on! A man in a drenched suit knelt in the mud, clutching the girl's icy hand, his voice hoarse breaking. He was Asa Okoro, a mining tycoon whose name ca right weighed across Kassala and all of East Africa, a man whose fortune could shake the city's economy with a single step. But right now, he was just a desperate father, his face streaked with what could have been rain or TRS. Sudan fever terminal, one doctor muttered to another, voice heavy. Organ failure, unbreakable fever, antibiotics aren't working. We've done all we can. Asa jolted, his bloodshot eyes locking onto the doctor. No. Impossible. How much? What medicine, name it? I'll buy the most expensive drug in the world. It's not about money, Mr. Okoro, this disease it's too rare. There's no cure, the doctor said, shaking his head helplessly. Just then, a figure emerged from the downpour outside the hospital gates. He moved slowly, leaning on a rain-soaked wooden cane, his thin frame wrapped in a faded kanga cloth, the kind East African women wore, now clinging to his bony body. Water streamed down his long, white hair and bard, his face red. With deep wrinkles, his milky eyes unfocused. He was Ka Ruma, the blind begayer everyone in Kassala knew. A security guard rushed four-way RD, shoving him back. Get lost, you filthy begayer. Stay away from the VIP entrance. Can't you see this is an emergency? Ka Ruma didn't stop. He tilted his head slightly, as if sniffing the air. Rain battered his face as he inhaled deeply, then began murmuring in an ancient, raspy voice, speaking in Daluo, a language thick with West African roots. His words were quiet, yet somehow cut through the storm. The southern wind rise the breath of death, blood boils like a raging river, but the northern embers still burn, unquenched. Everyone froze. Was this madman spouting prophecies again? But Asa Okoro reacted as if struck by lightning. He didn't understand Daluo, but the words death, blood, and embers stabbed into his panicked mind. He scrambled four-way RD on his knees, grabbing Ka Ruma's soaked sleeve. His voice cracking with desperation. What did you say? Who's dying? Embers? What do you mean? Ka Ruma calmly pulled his ARM back, rainwater dripping from his fingers. He turned to RD Ace's voice, his blind eyes somehow seeing him. Your daughter. This is no ordinary fever. It's the serpent's blood boiling inside her, scorching her organs. If you don't use the root of moonlight grass, boiled 3 times in goat's milk to seal the poison, she won't last till dawn. Moonlight grass. Ace's eyes widened. He'd never heard of it. What is that? Where? Tell me. The doctors, nurses, and RDS exchanged disbelieving looks. Folk remedies. Witchcraft at a time like this. I won't speak for free, Ka Ruma said calmly, exhaustion in his voice. Before I tell you, give me a clean meal. A bowl of water without mud. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Asa's rage exploded. This begayer read to ba again while his daughter was dying. He yanked a thick wad of cash from his soaked suit pocket and hurled it at Ka Ruma's feet. Bill splashed into the mud, instantly ruined by the rain. Take it. All of it. Now speak. If my daughter dies, I'll make sure you never set foot in this city again. Asa Roa read, his hands shaking with fury.
Ka Ruma didn't bend to pick up the money. He just stood there, rain running down his face like silent tears. When he spoke again, his voice was quiet but carried an eerie weight, silencing the chaos around them. Money can't buy life. What I want isn't your charity. It's for you to listen. The words hit Asa like ice water. He froze. Even the Gua RDS and medics exchanged stunned glances. This blind beg AR. Had Presence Asa gasped for air, sta ring into Ka Ruma's sightless eyes as time seemed to stop. Then the ERT monitor shrieked again, the final warning. With a SNARL, he spun Tawa RD his soaked driver and bellowed, "What are you waiting for? Go! Do as he says. To the slums. Fire Ant Alley. The third baobab tree, dig up the white roots. Now!" The driver jumped into action, tires screeching as the CAR vanished into the storm. Ka Ruma finally bent down, feeling through the mud, carefully gathering the wet bills one by one. He folded them neatly and tucked them into his ragged pouch. Then, leaning on his cane, he shuffled to a dry spot under the hospital eaves, sinking against the wall and closing his eyes as if the life-and-death exchange had never happened. The rain kept falling. Kasala gasped under the storm's weight, while a deeper storm, one of life, dignity, and ancient wisdom, had only just begun. When science had already declared death, a forgotten blind man had tossed a single stone of fate into the darkness. Would its ripples save a girl? Waka City's conscience no one knew. But for now, in the abyss of despair, there flickered a tiny light, a hope called moonlight grass. The rain eased, a dull gray light breaking through the clouds outside Kasala City Hospital. The air in the ER corridor remained thick with tension. Asa Okoro paced like a caged animal, his suit wrinkled beyond recognition, tie crooked, expensive shoes caked in mud. Every beep from the ERT monitor made his ERT stop. He read at the closed ICU doors as if he could burn through them with his gaze. His driver had been gone for nearly 2 hours with no word. His mind raced, was that blind man a fraud? A lunatic or a last hope? What the hell was Moonlight Grass, Fire Ant Alley, the worst slum in Kasala, or even cops via red to tread? And Asa Okoro, a man of power, was relying on a beg AR's ravings to save his daughter. Shame and terror twisted inside him, threatening to tear him apart. Meanwhile, Ka Ruma still leaned against the hospital's outer wall, eyes closed, his soaked kanga clinging to his bony frame. Raindrops dripped from the eaves, pooling at his feet. He looked like a forgotten statue, only the faint rise and fall of his chest proved he was alive. A few janitors passing by muttered under their breaths, "That blind old man again, always spouting prophecies, begging for scraps." "Shoot, did you see a liar, when that rich man's daughter was dying, he said something about serpent's blood." Security chased him off. "Pfft, crazy Basta Road Moonlight Grass can't cure anything. A hospital needle's worth 10 of his nonsense." Ka Ruma ignored them. His mind was elsewhere. He came from the Dola people of Mali's highlands, where elders said the blind saw clear rare with their hearts. He could see things others couldn't, the breath of life, the glow of souls. At the hospital doors, he'd seen the girl, her body wrapped in a scorching, twisting, snake-like red mist, devouring the faint blue light of her life. Moonlight Grass was the EARTH's tears and cursed lands, its roots, holding a cling power to balance the serpent's blood. He knew the remedy was ancient and dangerous. Wrong dosage or timing could kill faster. But he also knew the hospital's metal boxes and chemical water were useless against this old sickness born from the land's imbalance. Just as Asa was about to snap, his CAR screeched to a stop outside. The driver stumbled out, drenched, face wild with disbelief, clutching a plastic-wrapped white root caked in black mud like some sacred relic. "Boss! Found it! Under the third baobab in Fire Ant Alley, just like he said, dug 3 inches down. This is it." The driver's voice shook. "But it stinks like rotten wood. Can this really save her?" Asa snatched the bag, not a ring about the filth, and charged into the ICU. The doctors were about to call time of death when he burst in. "Wait." Asa ROA read, slamming the root onto the counter. "Use this. Boil it 3 times in goat's milk. Make her drink it. Now.
The head doctor picked up the damp, foul-smelling root, scowling.
Mr. Okoro, be reasonable. What is this? We've never seen it. It could be poison. How many have died from folk remedies? Injecting an unknown substance is criminal. My daughter is dying. Ace's eyes burned red, a lion backed into a corner. You said there's no cure. This is her last chance. I'll take the blame. Just do it. Under the pressure, the head nurse hesitated, then took the root. They found goat's milk, sliced the root, and boiled it.
A strange, bitter scent mixed with the milk soie RMTH filled the room, overpowering the antiseptic stench.
After the third boil, the liquid turned pale green.
The nurse drew it into a syringe, feeding it drop by drop through Lily's feeding tube.
Minutes crawled by.
Asa clutched his daughter's hand, praying for a miracle. The doctors shook their heads, just a rich man's desperate gamble. Then, 3 hours later, the impossible happened. The HRT monitor's shrieking flatline vanished. Lily's fever, once a deadly 41 degrees Celsius, began to drop, 41, 39, 38. Her blue-tinged skin flushed with faint pink. Her breathing steadied. Her pulse normalized.
This can't be. The head doctor lunged at the monitors, checking again and again, voice cracking. Sudan fever never reverses. Not in late stages. What is this root? The ICU fell silent. Everyone sta read at Asa, then at the doors leading outside. TRS finally broke free. Asa sprinted out, straight to the corner where Ka Ruma sat, still in calm as if he'd known all along. Asa dropped to one knee on the wet concrete, a man who never bowed, now humbled. He held out a steaming bag of rice, roasted yams, and a bottle of clean water. Sir Ka Ruma. You saved my daughter. You're a saint. Name your price. Money $1,010,000 a house a job anything, I'll move heaven any ARTH, just ask. Ka Ruma slowly shook his head. He took the food but didn't eat yet. His voice was quiet. I asked for a clean meal. A bowl of water without mud. You've already given it. Asa froze. This wasn't the answer he expected. No, that's not enough. You saved her life. My everything. You Havito ask for more. Ka Ruma chewed a bite of rice, swallowed, then spoke low, ancient, like wind over dunes. If you insisted dawn tomorrow, take me to Silent Lake. There, I'll sing a forgotten requiem. One lost for 100 years. Silent Lake. Asa had never heard the name. It sounded eerie. Where is that a forgotten grave? Ka Ruma murmured, blind eyes gazing into the distance. Where my people lie, and a history buried by guns and gold still waits. The EARTH there. Will hear my song. The choice is yours. Then he fell silent, eating the humble meal as if it were worth more than all the riches in the world. Asa sta read at the mysterious old man, stunned. He'd saved Lily yet refused. Wealth only asking to sing at some haunted lake. What secret lay behind this? But whatever it was, he owed the man a life. Swallowing hard, Asa nodded. I'll take you. At first light. Night deepened. The hospital quieted. Lily slept peacefully, her fever broken, her face finally calm. Asa sat by her bed, exhausted but wide awake. Watching her breathe, he thought of the blind man standing unshaken in the rain, of his refusal of money, just a clean meal, of his eerie request, Silent Lake. Something twisted in Asa's chest. Ka Ruma had saved his daughter. But in some way he couldn't explain, the beggar he'd once dismissed was saving him too, peeling back the blindness of wealth and power he'd worn for too long. And tomorrow's journey to Silent Lake might reveal a truth far to occur than moonlight grass. The first light of dawn crept over the forgotten edges of Kasala's outskirts, a thin mist hanging like gauze over the Ba Renland. No. Skyscrapers, no traffic, just scrubland and low, Unma hills. The air smelled of damp rot and stagnant mud. Asa Okoro drove his black luxury SUV down a dirt road. Nearly swallowed by weeds,
the vehicle lurching over ruts. Beside him, Ka Ruma sat motionless, head bowed, as if listening to the EARTH's heartbeat.
Clutched in his hands was the moonlight grassroot that had saved Lily's life, wrapped Ca refully in clean cloth.
Here, Ka Ruma said suddenly, voice quiet. Asa stopped the car. Ahead lay a small lake, its water an eerie, murky green, perfectly still.
No ripples. No birds.
Just a few crumbling stones etched with faded symbols, half buried in moss. Dead trees jutted from the shore like skeletal hands clawing at the sky.
Silence was the only language here. Silent Lake. Ka Ruma fumbled for the door handle.
Asa rushed to help, but the old man gently pushed him away. The Refoot, gripping his cane, Ka Ruma stepped into the shallow water, mud
swallowing his ankles.
He didn't hesitate. 100 years ago, Ka Ruma's voice ca right over the lake, hollow with time, my Dola ancestors came here from Mali's highlands. They found this land held a miracle moonlight grass, a cure for all sickness. It grows only where the EARTH has suffered, where curses fester. The soil's TRS, purging the deepest poisons. Asa held his breath. Then the white ships came, Ka Ruma's tone turned icy. They brought guns and greed. They wanted the grass's seeds, to hoa rd it, sell it, pile gold higher than mountains. My people refused. To us, moonlight grass was sacred, for healing, not profit. So. He paused, inhaling as if the air still reeked of smoke. One rainy night, torches lit the sky. Gunfire. Screams. My village burned to ash. Men, women, children, the elders who ride the grass all herded to this lake. Shot. Drowned. The water ran red for 3 days. After, it fell silent. A grave for my people. And the grass's secret. Only I survived, a boy hiding in a cellar ca wrying the memory. Until now. Asa's blood turned to ice. This wasn't the civilized progress he knew from history books. The lake's stagnant green seemed to swirl with ghosts. His mining empire, built on what? A sickening guilt coiled in his gut. Ka Ruma waded deeper, waist-high now, and suddenly sang. A haunting, ancient melody in Dola tongue, notes trembling with grief. And then, the lake moved. Ripples spread. Silver fish leaped in ARCS, flashing like coins tossed into the air, as if answering the song. Asa staggered back, heart pounding. What the hell? The song faded. The fish vanished. Ka Ruma turned, blind eyes piercing Asa's soul. Your daughter's Sudan fever, you think it was bad luck? Asa's throat tightened. Wasn't it? It was you. Ka Ruma's voice cracked like a whip. Okoro Mining's north site dumping untreated waste into the groundwater. Poison. Heavy. Metals. Chemicals. That river feeds this lake, then seeps into Kasala's pipes. Your greed brewed that sickness. Asa's legs buckled. The North scandal. He knew. He'd bury at it bribes, threats, millions spent to silence whistleblowers. But the poison had circled back into his own home. Into Lily's cup. Sudan fever, Ka Ruma whispered, is the EARTH's curse. The water's rage, burning in children's veins. Your daughter's blood boiled because yours did first. Asa collapsed to his knees in the mud, a broken man. Sobs racked his body. No, no. I killed her. My own. He remembered the cost-cutting orders he'd signed. The villagers' protests he'd ignored. The money that blinded him. His empire stood on bones, his daughter's Nearly among them. Ka Ruma watched, silent. No pity. No scorn. Finally, he spoke, weep, rich man. TRS won't wash your sins, but they might unclog your heart. Your daughter lived, by the grass's grace, and your last shred of mercy. But Kasala has thousands of lilies. In slums. In poisoned villages. Drinking your serpent's blood.
Save one or save them all.
Asa looked up, TRS blurring his vision.
How? Ka Ruma pointed Tawa RD the city. Shut the north mine. Clean the water. Build a hospital Real K for those who har med.
If your remorse is true, I'll teach you to grow moonlight grass.
Not for profit. For light. Dawn broke fully now, glinting on the lake's grim surface.
Asa Okoro, kneeling in filth, saw two paths, his crumbling empire of greed and the agonizing road to redemption. A road shown to him by a blind Beg-Ar song, at the edge of a forgotten grave. Dawn broke over Silent Lake, the mist finally lifting as sunlight fought through thick clouds, scattering faint glimmers across the murky green water. Asa Okoro still knelt in the icy mud, his trembling shoulders gradually stilling. His TRS hadn't dried, but the look in his eyes had shifted, from shattered despair to something deeper, Dirkur, a storm of pain and resolve. Ka Ruma's words had branded his soul like a red-hot iron. His empire, every ounce of gold mined, every mountain of profit, was built on poison land and the silent suffering of the poor. And his own daughter, his Lily, had NEARLY been sacrificed on that altar of greed. The irony, the punishment, was so heavy he could rely breathe. Shut down North Mine, clean the water, build a public hospital, each word cut like a knife. North Mine was the backbone of his fortune, 70% of the company's profits, the lifeblood of Shari holders, executives, even Kasala's economy. Closing it. Financial suicide. Stock prices would crash. Jobs would vanish. He could already hear the Boa RD's furious shouts, the politicians' threats, but then he looked down at his hands, caked in mud, the same hands that had signed the pollution permits, the same hands that had clutched Lily's tiny, dying fingers, and suddenly, he understood. Ka Ruma was right. Money had buried his conscience too deep. Lily's illness had cracked that shell open. He couldn't just buy his way out of this. Real redemption meant facing the truth, no matter the cost. I'll do it, Asa whispered at first, voice shaking. But as he lifted his head, meeting Ka Ruma's calm, knowing gaze, his words hardened like stone. Asa Okoro, swear on my daughter Lily's life, North Mine closes. No more pollution. Every cent I have goes to cleaning the water, building the best damn public hospital this city's ever seen. Every person I've hurt. They get help. Ka Ruma nodded slightly, silent, but his grip on the cane loosened just a fraction. This step, how righter than any herb, any remedy, was the one that mattered. Asa didn't return to his gilded mansion. He drove straight to Okoro Group's headquarters routers in the city center, still covered in mud, his suit ruined, hair wild, face streaked with TRS and dirt. The Gua RDS and Secreta Rise gaped. This wasn't the polished TYCN they knew. Emergency Boa RD meeting. Now, everyone move. His voice was raw but ride the force of a wounded lion's roar. 30 minutes later, the tension in the top-floor Boa Rud room was suffocating. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased Kasala's skyline, but inside, Asa stood alone at the head of the table, facing a dozen stunned executives. The projector displayed North Mine's satellite images and Profit Cha RTS. Effective immediately, Asa said, voice low but razor sharp, North Mine's gold and cobalt operations shut down permanently. All equipment halts. Workers laid off with maximum severance. The CFO shot to his feet, face purple. Have you lost your mind? North Mine is 70% of our profits, shut it down, and the stock tanks. We get bought out. Thousands lose jobs. You're destroying everything you built. Yes. I am. Asa's tone was ice. Destroying. An empire built on poison, lies, and people's suffering. Our waste poisoned the groundwater. It created a disease, Sudan fever. Yesterday, my daughter almost died from it. My Lily. Gasps. The Shah holders exchanged frantic glances. They knew about the pollution scandal, but not this. This is insane, a major investor Ked, slamming the table. Some blind Beg-Ar folk remedy saves your kid, and you torch the whole company over superstition. Asa, you're panicking. We can fix the PR. Profits first. Profits. Asa laughed, a bitter, broken sound. When my daughter was dying, did prophets buy her one more breath when slum kids choke on our poisoned water? Do you count their screams as revenue?
He hurled a folder onto the table, leaked pollution reports, anonymous medical files of slum children with Sudan fever.
Look at this, every dollar we made came from their pain. My daughter lived by a miracle and a curse.
I won't look away anymore.
I'd rather go bankrupt than let one more child die for my greed. He scanned the room, each word a hammer strike.
This is final. Sell your Shah residential if you disagree.
But North Mine closes. Today, we pivot to project like Clean the Water, build the Ka Ruma Health Center, free Ca for every Onuve poisoned.
Silence.
Only the hum of the AC filled the room. Asa Okoro, the man who'd once ruled by cutthroat capitalism, now stood alone at the edge of his own moral reckoning, ready to topple his golden kingdom for a shred of redemption. And in the corner, unnoticed, a young environmental officer clenched his fists, eyes wet with something like hope. The storm was just beginning. And Asa's awakening would send waves far beyond what he imagined. Asa Okoro's decision to shut down North Mine was like hurling a boulder into still water. The ripples quickly became tidal waves. Financial headlines screamed, Okoro empire crumbles.
Billionaires. Mad redemption. Shah reholders panicked, dumping stocks, sending prices plummeting.
Politicians and TYCNS whispered behind his back, lost his nerve over his daughter, brainwashed by a beg AR. The pressure was crushing.
Banks called in loans. PA returners pulled out.
Employees trembled. But Asa was eerily calm. He liquidated overseas assets, mortgaged his mansion, even tapped into family trusts, all to fund Project Light.
No more galas.
Instead, he walked the poisoned villages of the north, sta ring into the Rashid, feverish faces of children, listening to villagers' raw fury. Every step redeemed his resolve. On the fringes of Firean Alley, Kassala's worst slum, bulldozers ROA read over a trash-strewn lot. This would be the Ka Ruma Health Center. At first, slum dwellers scoffed, another rich man's PR stunt. But as walls rose, so did hope. When Asa first arrived not as a TYCN, but as the site foreman, he wasn't met with Gua RDS shooing people away, but with hundreds of eyes, wary yet hungry. The groundbreaking was simple.
No suit. Asa wore work boots, laying the first brick himself.
Beside him stood Ka Ruma, still wrapped in that faded kanga, blind yet feeling the swirl of hope and doubt around him. Ka Ruma, Asa said after the ceremony, Ernest, when this opens, you'll be our traditional medicine advisor. The moonlight grass, its growth, its uses, that's on you.
Ka Ruma nodded.
Herbs heal greed only if swallowed.
I'll teach.
But remember, this center belongs to Kassala's poor.
Nato Okoro Group. Progress was brutal. Funds dried up.
Supplies vanished. Workers quit, spooked by the slum's bad luck. But then fire ants' children gathered outside the site, singing, offering sips of water in cracked bowls. Their tiny hands became the project's strongest fuel. 6 months later, a miracle rose from the filth, a solar-powered clinic with exam rooms, a pharmacy, even a lab.
And behind it a Ga Reden. Rows of moonlight grass, glowing faintly under the moon. Ka Ruma's doing, with Asa's backing. The city buzzed. Opening day.
A sea of bodies stretched from the doors deep into Fire Ant's belly.
Ka Ruma held court in the back court. Ard, now his clinic.
No longer a beg AR, he was grandfather light, surrounded by slum kids running herbs, moonlight grass, pain vine, blood leaf.
His rough fingers traced each plant's secrets as young apprentices drank in his words.
Children clung to his tales of Dola legends and Star wisdom. Hope, at last. But shadows followed. First strike, the International Medical Aid Organization, IMAO. Its director, a haughty European doctor, took to the press. Ka Ruma Center peddles witchcraft and toxic weeds.
Preying on the poor's ignorance. We demand oversight. She pressured the health ministry to revoke their license.
Next, the black market.
A drug dealer cornered an apprentice, 1 moonlight root equals 6 months' wages. 10 roots equals a city APA meant. Deal most refused.
But temptation slithered in. Then, the real threat. Late one night, a government advisor arrived, flanked by suits.
Smug.
Mr. Okoro, Mr. K.A. Ruma, he used, your charity is admirable. But running this place costly. Let's pa earner. Our development office offers grants in exchange for the grass's formula.
Win-win, yes.
Ace's fists clenched.
But K.A. Ruma rested a hand on his arm, turning Tawa RD the man, the old man said softly, Herbs re the EARTH's gift. For healing, not trading.
Moonlight grass grows where the land suffers. Its light shines only for those in need.
Keep your grants. Our answer is no.
The advisor's smile died. His eyes turned venomous. He left without another word. The storm was coming. The fragile light born in Fire and Alley now faced greed, scorn, and power's chokehold. K.A. Ruma knew, the real test had just begun. Ngwa riding this light. Would be how righter than growing moonlight grass itself. The grand opening of the K.A. Ruma Health Center unfolded under a Ra Reclea or sky in Kasala. Sunlight bathed the gleaming white building, while in the medicinal Garden out back, rows of moonlight grass swayed in the breeze, their pale petals emitting an eerie glow even in daylight, drawing gasps from the crowd. Colorful flags fluttered, drums pounded, and dignitaries rise from government, business, media, and global organizations packed the grounds.
Cameras flashed non-stop along the red Ca Pat, transforming this slum-adjacent corner into the city's brightest spotlight.
Asa Okoro stood polished and radiant in his suit, a far cry from the broken man who'd once knelt in mud. At the podium, his voice boomed with passion. Today, the K.A. Ruma Health Center isn't just a building, it's the awakening of conscience. Capital giving back to society. It's our penance for the past, our promise for the future. And it all began with one man's wisdom, K.A. Ruma. He saved my daughter with ancient knowledge, guided my redemption with selfless grace. He's Kasala's hero, Africa's living treasure. Thunderous applause.
Cameras swiveled to K.A. Ruma, seated in the front row.
The old man wore the same faded kanga, eyes lowered, seemingly deaf to the fanfare around him. He felt the room's energy, the genuine respect, the morbid curiosity, the skepticism, the greed far truer than Ace's lofty words. As the ceremony wound down, guests toured the facility. Asa descended the stage, glowing with triumph. Approaching K.A. Ruma, he drew a custom-minted commemorative coin from his pocket.
Not currency, this was solid gold, stamped with Okoro Group's eagle logo on one side, the Project Light emblem and in honor of wisdom and compassion on the other.
Priceless. Exclusive.
A token for VIPs.
Smiling wa RMLY, Asa bent slightly, like a benefactor bestowing alms, and tossed the heavy. Glittering coin into the ragged cloth bag at K.A. Ruma's feet. K.A. Ruma, Asa said, oozing gratitude, this light of life coin is my personal thanks and Okoro Group's highest honor. For saving my family, for lighting this center's way.
Oh!
The crowd sighed.
Cameras exploded.
The moment was perfect, the billionaire philanthropist humbling himself before the blind sage who'd rescued his child.
Front page material. A fairy tale ending.
Asa waited for K.A. Ruma's tearful gratitude or humble refusal. Instead, silence. The coin clinked into the bag, rolling to a stop. The courtier froze. Reporters held their breath.
Lenses zoomed in.
Then, slowly K.A. Ruma lifted his head. His blind eyes seemed to pierce straight through Asa's smile, into the lingering arrogance beneath. When he spoke, his voice was soft but razor-sharp, cutting through the staged rmth like ice.
30 years ago at Lagos Port, a white officer threw a coin at my face. Said, take it, NR, and scram.
Today you toss yours like alms as if 3 decades changed nothing.
As if I'm still less dead. Silence. Not a breath. Not a blink. Every smile died. Every camera stalled.
Ace's pride drained from his face, leaving only white. His mouth opened, no sound came out.
That toss, meant as respect, had echoed colonial cruelty in Ka Ruma's memory. The gold coin wasn't honor. It was here archy. Ka Ruma wasn't done. Your daughter lived because her life was precious. Worth your fortune, or because moonlight grass heals all. Rich or poor, you didn't repay him. You patronized him. I'm no beggar needing your gold to prove my worth. I'm a man. A wise man. My wisdom saved your child. My dignity is yours to weigh with coins. His words detonate in the crowd. Skeptics, extortionists, gawking journalists, all shaken. Here was a blind man, with nothing but truth, exposing the rot beneath their charity. Asa Okoro, who'd thought? Himself redeemed, now saw the chasm between himself and true humility. He read at the coin, gleaming mockingly in the sun. For the first time in his life he felt ashamed. The courtyard was dead silent, only the whisper of wind through the herb garden could be heard. The gold commemorative coin lay in the coarse cloth bag like a burning brand. See ring Asa Okoro's soul. Ka Ruma's words had shattered his fully crafted image of the benevolent philanthropist. What he thought was gratitude had been, in Ka Ruma's eyes, no different from the colonial officer's cruelty. Shame crashed over him like a tidal wave, nerly buckling his knees. He read at Ka Ruma's face, calm yet unyielding, those blind eyes seeing straight through him. The coin thrown at the port 30 years ago, and the one he'd just tossed today, to Ka Ruma's dignity, they weighed the same. Asa finally understood. Deep down, he still ride that savior's arrogance. What he'd given wasn't respect, it was charity, handed down from above. Sweat soaked his shirt. Trembling, he bent not just his body, but the spine that had never bowed in business. He didn't pick up the coin. Instead, he cupped it with both hands, lifting it from the bag with excruciating slowness, as if it were sacred. Then, bending again, he raised the coin to eye level with Ka Ruma, not above, not below, equal. His voice was raw, shaking with trs, I was wrong. Each word weighed a ton. My thanks was an insult. Please take this. Not as charity. Not as a reva road. But as a sinner's overdue respect for an elder. The air froze. Every eye locked onto those hands. That coin. Ka Ruma stayed silent. He could feel it, the shift in Asa's energy. The arrogance had burned away. What remained was trembling remorse. Finally, Ka Ruma reached out, his own hands calloused, cracked with age. No words. Just his fingers brushing Asa's, then closing around. The coin. He didn't pocket it immediately. Instead, he traced its edges with his thumb, feeling its shape, its rnth. Then a smile. Like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Gently, he placed the coin in his chest pocket over his heart. This, Ka Ruma said softly, the words ringing in the stillness, is the space between men. Asa straightened. Trs streamed down his face, no longer shame, but cleansing. He bowed deeply to Ka Ruma, holding the pose. No one moved. Not the journalists. Not the dignitaries. Not the slum dwellers. They just witnessed something. A billionaire, humbled before a blind beggar, learning how to truly see another man. The coin incident was like a boulder dropped into still water. The ripples exploded into a citywide storm. The next day, headlines weren't about the health center's opening. They screamed. Billionaire's charity backfires, blind sage schools him. One gold coin shatters philanthropies. Mask. Okoro's arrogance versus K.A. Ruma's dignity. K.A. Ruma's words, 30 years ago, a white man threw coins the same way, went viral, igniting a firestorm. Some hailed him as steel-spined, Africa's dignity incarnate. Others sneered, ungrateful wretch, too proud for his own good. The backlash hit Okoro Group like a tsunami. Stocks, already shaky, plummeted. Worse, the mining cartels and politicians who'd lost fortunes when North Mine closed saw their chance. They struck hard. First, the Health Ministry, under pressure from IMAO, issued a cease and desist order. K.A. Ruma Health Center was accused of illegal medical practice and promoting unverified, dangerous folk remedies. All treatments involving moonlight grass were suspended pending scientific review, a bureaucratic black hole meant to strangle them slowly. Then, the Economic Ministry declared North Mine under reassessment, citing national economic harm from its closure. The implication was clear: reopen the mines. Markets reeled. Environmentalists and slum dwellers erupted infuriated, but the darkest blow came from the shadows. One storm last night, flames erupted in the health center's Bakier Road. Gasoline stench choked the air. The fire tore through the herb storeroom, K.A. Ruma's consultation hut, even his bedroom. Apprentices woke screaming, dragging buckets, coughing through smoke. They really got K.A. Ruma out, his eyebrows singed, RMS blistered, but alive. Our son, they sobbed. They tried to kill Grandfather Light. Asa Okoro stormed to the scene, shaking with rage. The Cha-Red ruins. K.A. Ruma wheezing on a stretcher. This wasn't business, it was murder. He called the police, launched his own shadow investigation. Firelight flickered on Asa's grim face, on K.A. Ruma's calm, blind eyes. The fragile light born in Fire Ant Alley now faced its fiercest gale. Greed, bigotry, and violence were closing in, determined to snuff it out. Asa knew, the war for dignity and survival had just turned brutal. And he'd hunt the culprits down, no matter who. The morning after the fire, the K.A. Ruma Health Center lay in ruins, red walls and blackened beams stark against the pale dawn. Asa Okoro hadn't slept. He'd mobilized private investigators and his top corporate security team, hunting the arsonists with ruthless precision. The trail led inside his own company. Security footage showed his head of security, Nkosi, meeting a shadowy figure the night before the fire. An envelope changed hands, thick with cash. Confronted with proof, Nkosi broke down. Sobbing, he confessed, West African Mining Group, Okoro's rivals, the ones who'd fought her rightest against closing North Mine, had paid him a fortune. Enough to relocate his family overseas. His orders: create an accident to pressure Asa into reopening the mines. Nkosi swore he only meant to burn the herb storage, just at SCA, but the fire spread too fast. West African Mining, the same men who'd raged in boardrooms about profits over sentiment. Asa read at Nkosi's confession, ice in his veins. A man he'd trusted. A friend, by corporate standards willing to kill for money. The fire hadn't just torched a clinic, it burned away Asa's last illusions about the world he'd ruled. He didn't retaliate in shadows. Instead, he called a global press conference, live-streamed worldwide. No fancy backdrop, just the gutted health center's image projected behind him. Asa looked haggard, but his eyes burned like never before. Last night's fire, he began, voice raw but steady, wasn't an accident. It was attempted murder. A plot to kill an elder who saved countless lives, to destroy a hospital built for the poor. My own security chief was bribed. The masterminds. West African Mining Group. The room erupted, cameras flashed like lightning. In the past, Asa continued, gaze piercing the lenses, I read only about profit. I buried sins under money and power, blind to this land's real pain. K.A. Ruma taught me, true wealth is conscience and respect. My daughter lived not because I'm rich, but because a stranger chose to help with wisdom and dignity. Then, the bombshells, from today, Okoro Group reforms completely. I'm donating 10% of my personal resto. Launched the African Herb Heritage and Ecology Fund, independent, preserving traditional medicine, protecting endangered plants, healing poison land. Next, K.A. Ruma and local healers will partner with us to merge proven traditional remedies into mainstream healthcare with legal protection for their knowledge. Finally, Asa stood, voice booming, I will bring every arsonist, every conspirator to justice. But more than that, I call on all Kassala, all Africa, to unite. Gwa wrote our wisdom. Gwa wrote our EARTH. Gwa wrote every person's dignity. The speech sent shockwaves nationwide. Ka Ruma's NEAR Los Dola remedies, including the breath of life diagnostic method.
300 graduates had already spread moonlight grass and the center's model to their villages, saving thousands abandoned by mainstream medicine. One golden evening, as sunset painted the institute in Wa-RM hues, Ka Ruma sat in his favorite wicker chair in the back garden. Lily Okoro, the girl who'd once hovered near death, now rosy-cheeked and full of life, perched on a stool at his feet, reading him a book of African star poems in her clear, childish voice. Her words were his eyes. Grandfather, Lily paused after a verse about Orion, peering up curiously. You really can't see anything. Ka Ruma smiled, his weathered hand stroking her hair. Child, my eyes were blinded long ago by fire. I don't see the sunset, these herbs, or your sweet face. Lily's expression crumpled with sadness. But Ka Ruma squeezed her hand, his voice deep with wisdom. Yet. I do see. I see the lightened souls. Like your father's. He paused, remembering. A year ago, his light was buried under gold and pride, a choking haze. He saw profits, not pain. When he tossed that coin, his glow was cold, heavy with pity. Lily's eyes widened. But then, Ka Ruma's tone softened, when he knelt at Silent Lake, when he truly bowed after the coin, when he spoke at that press conference I saw. His soul's light clear red, like rain-washed sky. That glow. Remorse. Courage. The Wa-RMTH of Leah Renning respect. Ra rarer than any gold. He turned his blind gaze to RD Kassala's skyline, where glass towers sparkled with ARLY lights. Africa's future, Lily, he murmured, isn't in those tall buildings or bank accounts. It's here, in trampled soil, in those who bend to listen to the EARTH. In ERTS that honor all life, rich or poor, city or slum. The wind stilled. The garden held its breath. Then, Ka Ruma began to sing. The same Dola Requiem. He'd chanted at Silent Lake, calling to the dead. But now, woven with the scent of fresh herbs, students' chatter, Lily's soft breathing, it wasn't just mourning. It was hope, deep and alive as the land's own pulse. The last sunlight stretched Ka Ruma's shadow long across the garden, merging with the faintly glowing moonlight grass. Blind, yet he seemed to see further than any sighted man, a future where tradition and modernity reconciled, where greed bowed to conscience, where every life, however humble, stood in dignity's light. The old song, Ca Ride by the Breeze, was no longer an ending. It was a beginning.